Well, yes, smoke. Great. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast.
Oh, here we go.
Uh-oh.
And I never like to deliver bad news. I never like to be the one to deliver bad news, all right? But I see over here, Mr. Nice Guy Ryan in the live chat. Isn't Greg seeing Garfield with Roger? Assuming we're talking about that. Corey Clark, LFG, Greg and Roger, giving the old Garfield grabbling. Like, people want to hear about the movie Garfield.
I want to.
That Roger and I just went and saw.
Shucks, I wanted to go.
No, you had to work.
That's what he said to me. He looked at me.
There can't be a Cinderella if there aren't stepsisters.
Yeah. Oh,
so
okay.
we had to elevate you. You
Thank
had to
you.
go do that.
Thank
But that's not neither here nor there, Nick.
It's
All
neither
right.
here nor there.
What this is about 10,000.
Yep.
149.
Let him know, Greg.
And 49.
Let him.
Okay.
Joey, what does that number mean to you? 10,149.
It's like the lost numbers.
No.
Okay.
Please don't make a joke out of this.
Wow.
You can see that I'm upset. I told you beforehand I was upset.
Yep.
I told you we're going to talk. The episode's called Greg Miller Hates the Audience. This isn't the time to get on this list with me. All right, Joe?
Okay.
10,149.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the fucking number is, Joe?
I'm
The number, ladies and gentlemen, is the amount of views so far on the youtube.com/kindoffunnygames version of the Gamescast, where I interview two DC Universe online developers about their 13-plus-year-old video game.
mm-hmm.
That is what I call a win, ladies and gentlemen. That aired on Friday. That is a passion project. One of the big things of the new Gamescast is that we can come out here and do the big reviews, the big things, and then do the small things, Mike, and not feel like we're letting down the number of views or whatever we're doing. We're not hampering the business, right? We can do a big thing. We can do the passion projects. We can have the small things. I was like, if I can get that to 10,000 views, I will be happy. Y'all went to 10,149.
Hell yeah.
That streamed on Friday.
That's a win.
Now it's Tuesday.
Let's talk about 10,457.
Uh-oh.
What do you think that is, Mike? 10,457.
That's how many people tuned in to the live stream where we celebrated 13 plus years of DC Universe Online and played with the developers.
That'd be a good guess. No, that's how many people have watched so far the Greg Miller Gets a Garfield Tattoo episode of the Kind of Funny podcast.
Yeah.
last week.
Last week. That posted on Wednesday.
Oh.
DC posted on Friday and is now 300 views behind the Garfield episode of the tattoo. What do you fucking freaks want? Okay, that's the big question. What do you kind of funny sickos fucking want? The DC thing, a success with 10,000, of course. That's a 13-year-old MMO. Like, that is, I get it. That's not, I'm so proud of you for showing up to hear about these people who are passionate and have worked out for something. I make a blood pledge with Roger to get a Garfield tattoo.
Was there blood involved?
No, Joey, that's neither here nor there. And you can't move your fucking fat little digit to click on it. What do you want out of this show, if not that? If not Greg and a cast of colorful rogues talking shop. Roger debuted a tattoo he has that is so bad, Nick.
It's so bad.
Is
We
it
thought we
bad?
could. Yeah, it's AI generated. It's horrible. It's against art. It's against art. It's against
AI
God.
generated?
It's a frog
Yes.
that eats
Mr.
cheese.
Cheddar,
Oh,
AI
Roger.
generated.
And so, like, it's one of those, like, we thought maybe we could put that in the headline. We're like, nobody will click on that. Everybody already thinks Roger, dweeb. But if we can bring it up with Greg Miller plus Garfield, Greg Miller making a blood oath to get a tattoo. No. And here's what I'll tell you right now. I know it happened. You already all fell for it. You clicked on this. Oh, Greg Miller hates the audience. I got to find out about this. Well, here you are. Cat got your tongue? Fuck, man.
I don't know why we wouldn't hate the audience, truth be told. They never do anything we want them to.
It's not hard.
Click on the thing.
Just fucking support us. I get I can't afford a membership right now. That's understandable. You can't afford
Yep.
an hour of 4, sometimes 5 best friends talking about a goddamn tattoo they're thinking about getting?
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing.
What's the thing?
I've taken down all 10,457 names. And so when we get to the 10-year live stream and we put it on the thermometer, Greg and Roger go get their Garfield tattoos, don't come fucking to me with your suggestions unless you're on that list. If you're on the list, I'll accept it. If you're not, I don't want your suggestions. This is a great example to make up for it. You might say, hey, Greg, this Have a Nice Day shirt from Homage. That's a good Garfield. No, this is too classic Garfield. I like the Silver Age Garfield, not the Golden Age Garfield, Joey.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what the difference is. Sorry that I'm not a Garfield connoisseur.
difference.
I was a Muppet Babies kind of girl. We're
First
talking
off,
about
you just
cartoons.
brought it back. You just fucking brought it back. Muppet
fuck yeah.
Babies, let's go.
When are we getting Muppet Babies tattooed, you know?
Joey? Joey? We got a 10th anniversary stream coming up in January. Well, how about we just do it? We just hire a tattoo artist to come here.
Oh.
And then we can all get
You
the
wanna
kind
do
of
it on
funny
the
logo.
spot.
We can all get the kind of funny logos done. We could then me and Raj can get Garfields. You and me can get Muppet Babies.
Here we go.
Muppet Babies, who are you thinking of?
I think I want Baby Animal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Baby Kermit always did it for me. His little sailor outfit and his shorts. I'm like, you're a cool dude.
Cute.
I don't.
I can fucking party with you, Sailor Kermit. You know what I
Say
mean?
what?
And here's another thing too. While we're just taking people to task, let
Let's
me
go.
tell you
Let
about
him know.
the soulless corporation of McDonald's.
Oh, okay.
You can go back to, I'll ballpark it at 1987,
Okay.
maybe 88,
Jesus. Okay.
but I'll say 87. McDonald's does a little Happy Meal run with the one and only Muppet Babies. Okay, they got them
Tragic
doing
that
everything.
Mike and I missed this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about
I
that.
had the
yeah.
Beanie Babies, though.
Oh, me too.
Terrible.
Teeny beanies.
You had them doing things I don't fucking know. Well, let's say Kermit's on a jet ski, Miss Piggy's got a flute. I don't know.
That's
But they're
sick.
doing things. They're toys. They're things. Do you remember what they were? What they were doing? Do
I
you remember the
don't recall
Muppet Baby
these.
Happy
What
Meals?
year is this?
87, 88. I'm very
No,
small,
I don't
so
remember
you're
a
in
lot
college.
of stuff there.
Okay.
I don't think we were hugely into McDonald's in the 80s, if I'm being real.
What?
First off, we'll put a pin in
Yeah,
that one. That's
hold
a
up.
psychotic thing to say.
I think we were
That
like
was when they gained their momentum.
Well, I'll tell you why. Can I take the pin out of it?
Sure.
Can it be unpinned?
Sure.
Because I had family members that worked for Taco Bell.
Oh!
So
Sure.
if there was ever a fast food run, it was always like, oh, one of my aunts or uncles, because my dad's side of the family has so many fucking relatives,
Yeah.
we're still working at the Taco Bell in Riverside, California. And so
Sure.
they'd go hook it the fuck
Yeah,
up.
you're getting like Taco Bell already cheap, even today, by inflation standards.
Yeah.
Thanks, Biden. But like, you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Back then,
then they used real beans. You're
here's
like,
a
wow, that's
here's a
good.
dime. You get like 4,000 tacos in a sack.
Oh, it was that. It was totally that vibe.
Over here, thank you. We have people keeping us honest over here. Kermit was on a skateboard, says Chris B.
You know what? I
Chop
do
Raven,
remember
Kermit
that.
on a skateboard. Gonzo had a trike. Piggy had a car. Fozzie had a hobby horse.
I
Thank you.
remember all this stuff.
Here's though again to like right now, McDonald's.
Uh-huh.
They don't care if you live or die when you go in there, Joey. You know what I
No.
mean? They just want you to eat the fucking thing and give them the money.
I don't even think they want you to eat the fucking thing.
They're eliminating the people. He's got touchscreens now. You know what I mean? Back in my day, though, I don't remember what it was or how we fucked it up this badly. But we went to McDonald's during this Happy Meal time, and they
Okay.
didn't have the toy I wanted as a child or whatever. And it must have been coming to an end. I don't know what my parents were doing that was so important. I mean, the 80s, we didn't have the fucking internet.
No.
So all you had
It was that or stare at a fucking
you
wall.
can you can jump to like the 1990 Burger King run of Simpsons figures, where literally my
course.
parents drove me around to Burger King, so
Yeah,
I
you
could
gotta
complete
have
the entire set.
Oh, that was the Beanie Baby thing
Yeah.
for Mike and I.
This time around, though, whatever was happening, and Mom wrote a letter to McDonald's
Damn.
and was like, "Hey, my son couldn't get whatever. Could you hook us up?" And they sent
Jimmy
back
Kennedy doing the most for
an
you.
entire package of all of them.
Whoa.
That's the McDonald's
Wow.
of my era. All right,
That's when they cared about
that was when
customers.
McDonald's. You weren't just a number on a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Like right now, you're gonna tell me this isn't the best podcast you've heard?
Yeah.
The amount of times I'm listening to podcasts, I'm like, I just want our own podcast, but not with me on it. Like I don't want,
okay.
you know
He
what I mean?
loves listening to that.
Yeah.
But apparently, only 10,457 people got that because we fucking talked about Garfield.
So,
If it was just Greg Miller was gonna get a tattoo, I bet it would have done fine. But Garfield alienated you fuckers. And now there's a hit movie out right now.
Is it a hit?
Almost beat
Is it a hit?
Furiosa.
Yeah. Guess what? Furiosa didn't do very well
Yeah, I
at
know.
the box office, unfortunately.
Well, you know what? Things are changing.
Times
All
are
right.
changing,
It's a bummer,
You know, and let me
actually.
check. Let me
Was
check
there
in
a
on the box office
tie-in
right
to
now.
the
Shocking that
McDonald's?
Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire is at $200 million. We've done it. That's the number they needed to cross. They crossed it.
Really?
No big deal here. I'll be getting another Ghostbusters.
Hey.
Sorry, you'll be reading Mad Max in the funny pages because nobody gives a shit about that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that you're getting another Ghostbusters. That's great. I'm bummed that Furiosa is not doing better. I think it's just maybe just a poor weekend to pull it out on.
Is
which
it?
weird.
Is it, or is it just like
Is it?
I don't
nobody
know.
really wanted this film?
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's I think this film would have done better if it was sandwiched in between other films of its ilk. I think if they had a run of like, oh, people are potentially thinking about going to the theaters, but I don't know.
But that wasn't that kind of supposed to be it with the Fall Guy? Like
Did
that
the
was
Fall
supposed to
Guy
be a
didn't do
big
that great
blockbuster,
either, did
which
it?
we talked about last week.
Yeah.
But is this the end of movie theaters? Like, are people just not coming out
No.
for?
Well, The Fall Guy
So-
is a harder sell because it's Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling, and it's definitely one of those movies that we all are sort of trained in the back of our minds to be like, this is going to be on streaming in about a month, so why would I go to theaters to get this? But Furiosa is definitely one of those spectacle blockbusters that if you really want the experience, you should go see it in the biggest, loudest, craziest theater possible. But it's hard. I'm of two minds on this because I'm definitely one of those people who's like, this was a rad experience. I'm glad we saw it in Dolby. I'm super excited that we got a chance to tell everyone about it, and I want to evangelize this. But then if I was just a person that didn't do this for a living, there's no fucking way I would have gone to see that movie this weekend because it was just too nice out, and I don't want to go to movies ever, specifically in San Francisco, because every movie theater in San Francisco is hell on earth.
Alamo's great.
I didn't feel like we had a bad time at Metreon this time.
That's because we saw it at 3:00 in the afternoon on like a Thursday. There was no one around there.
Yeah.
And getting in and out of the Metreon was still hell. The Metreon itself was fine, but that area is just so bad now.
I watched
So
Fall
bad.
Guy from the comfort of my own home last night.
On TikTok?
Greg.
Did you
Let
rent
me
it or
tell
did you watch
what.
it on TikTok? That's
I
the real
rented
question.
it for $20, which is an appropriate price to be able to stay at my home, watch it at my time, hit the pause button, stand up, go use the restroom, go grab a snack, come back, unpause.
Roger and I
enjoy
had to
myself.
act sick today so we could slink off to the movie.
Exactly.
And when we did, it was still $7 a ticket for a matinee, 14. I'm like, wow, and I had $30 over there. Now, granted, I put it on the company card, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
Content.
that's still money right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come
Sure.
on.
It is money.
Yeah, you guys were just
At
coughing
home,
your way out of the office
20,
back in 2
$25
hours.
day and date. I'm there. Now for the Fall Guy, fuck no, I'm not gonna do that.
No, Fall Guy is definitely one of those $5 rental max. I have those sort of categories.
You got your
The
scale.
tier
You know,
list,
where I'm
yeah.
like, I love Ryan Gosling. I do. And if it's a free, if Ryan Gosling's in a movie that I haven't seen and it's free, I'm 100% watching it that weekend. 100%, right? Could I go see it? Could I take D to see The Fall Guy in theaters? Not a chance. It's not going to happen. Could we rent it for $5? Yes.
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday
movie?
afternoon, is it a $10 rental? That's where we start having some
Wow, okay.
you know, $10 to
Fall Guy,
$15.
are you
I'm thinking to
having
myself, maybe this is
An
not worth
internal
it.
struggle, or you and D having a
Is it
struggle?
vocalized?
It's a struggle of how much are we really going to get out of this? Do we order food? Do we have it delivered? Is this going to be our fun Sunday? Or do we go pick something up, come back and watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine for the 5th time,
Oh.
which I'm currently making my way through. Still a great series. Still bummed that one ended.
Tragic.
Yeah.
And now the captain guy gone. Rest in peace.
I know, Andre Brower,
Mm-hmm.
sad. He was fantastic. He's one of those guys where you look at his body of work, and this is such a unique role for him, and he is just absolutely perfect. Have you watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all?
I've seen clips.
It's such a delightful show.
Yeah.
And he is so pitch perfect in it.
Yeah.
As a character that is just very curt and very proper and very well spoken.
Okay.
It's very fun. But back to Furiosa, I'm bummed that it's not doing well because
Yeah.
I like the Mad Max movies. But I understand it's a hard sell. I get it. Wasteland, violence.
My whole thing with
Craziness.
it, and you are happy to correct me and red team me on all this.
I mean,
I
sure.
just felt like it's been so long since the last one. I saw the last one, and I did not walk out a changed man. I know many people did,
Sure.
but it also seems like Mad Max has always been such a niche thing. So like the fact they put so much into this budget wise and expected this big return on something that's never really done that before was surprising to me.
Well, Fury Road did well,
Uh-huh.
if memory serves correctly. And I think it did well because it was catching it was an interesting, how's this going to turn out kind
It
of
seemed
movie,
like it was
right?
going to be almost a reboot of Mad Max,
Which it sort of was.
weird that it then took so long to get something different and it wasn't a Mad Max film.
I can't remember if that was pandemic or not. I can't
Okay.
remember if it was
Okay.
like a, hey, we want to do this thing, and it just kind of got gummed up by the
Sure.
pando. But I do think some of it's prequel vibes. I do think that I just don't think prequels are as exciting as sequels to movies. And I
Yeah.
do think some of it is that it's not a Mad Max story, but I would urge people, if you liked Fury Road, I think this is every bit as good. I think it's really fun and kind of epic and has really, really good incredible action sequences that I was just blown away by. And I think the cast does a really, really great job.
When I woke up, I guess on Saturday, maybe Sunday, it all runs together. I saw the discussing film tweet. Furiosa is estimated to open with $31 million domestically. Production budget was $168 million. Will be the worst Memorial Day weekend openings in nearly 3 decades. I, of course, then copied that link, sent it to Tim, and I said, haha, fuck you, Tim.
Yeah.
And then he responds, every movie is going to look like the finale of WandaVision. This is the future you want. You are a monster.
I mean, I see both sides of this. I hate to be the guy that's in the middle of the aisle, but
Yeah,
I understand that. I understand both of the sides, right? I mean, we got to get out there and support theaters, but at the same time, to
And
Mike's point,
that's been
this
the fun
experience sucks
conversation
now.
to be on the sidelines of. Video games, I feel like I got to be in there. I got to pay attention. I got to do whatever. This one, obviously, I stoked the fires. I quote tweeted that very same tweet and said, I have absolutely no interest in the Mad Max universe. I do, however, have tickets to Garfield on Tuesday. Because I knew that would make all of the film snobs mad, and they did. You know what I mean? Roger Ebert's ghost was in my comments mad at me about that one or whatever. But this has been the argument of like, oh, you got to support theaters. You got to do this thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I've seen a lot of the pushback that isn't even my own belief necessarily of like, but do we? Like, and it's an interesting one of like, to me as an example, and I know I'm very much the outlier on most movie opinions, right? But I don't like the blockbuster. I don't like the action movie. So like, for like when Tim's like, it's all going to look like WandaVision, which is a funny joke. I'm more like, well, is it all going to look like Rushmore? It's all going to like the movies that I actually really like. Kevin Smith Clerks. Like, I'd be stoked if that was the kind of movie we were forced to make because suddenly production budgets were completely slashed and reset and yada yada. Me and Tim went back and forth as joking but being seriously, and it was me. I sent back, the Cavill no mustache CGI. I'm like, if I can avoid this, I don't care. And I was like, but really, all I want is this. And I sent an image of just how it should have ended of Batman and Superman sitting in the coffee shop. I'm like, give me this fucking film. I don't need him fighting anybody. Let him just talk and do something.
I mean, I'm supporting theaters just because it's still very much a big revenue source.
And again,
for
this is
movies.
like such a baby bathwater on-off kind of conversation that I am not saying fuck theaters. I have said that on shows, mainly in character, mainly being a goof, mainly being a heel, right? I don't crave that experience as much as many of you. I do like going to the movie theater. I do love Alamo. I do love the lounges. I went and saw Challengers and it was fun. You know what I mean? Like blah blah. Like,
You say Challengers was fine.
no, the experience is what I'm saying.
Okay.
The experience. Challengers was great. Challengers was a great.
Did you
movie.
leave that theater super horny?
I went in super horny. All right,
Yep,
trust
yep.
me. I'm super horny right now.
That's your superpower. That's your
That's my secret. I'm always horny. But anyways, like I mean, don't get me wrong. I still, go to. Me and Raj were talking while we were waiting for Garfield to start a tour de force, and it was the conversation. He's like, "What's the next movie you want to see?" I'm like, "Oh, Deadpool, Wolverine." And he's like, "Yeah, but you would go see that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." It's like I feel like there's far fewer ones, but I'm also in that baby period of my life right now where it's like it's hard to get me out for anything.
Well, I don't think it's just that. I think I feel it too, and I don't have your responsibilities at home as well. I just feel like there's so many things pulling our distraction in different ways that it's so hard to mobilize and be like, let's go spend $50 and go watch a movie when I know I know that movie, I know I'm going to watch Fall Guys 3 or 4 weeks from now. It's going to go by like that. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to walk in and be like, Joey, you missed the movie of the fucking year. Fall Guys, so funny.
And I'm going to be like, I saw it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been telling you to watch this.
But those tentpole movies, those must-see movies in theaters are just so few and far between these days. And I want theaters. I love theaters. I want theaters to last for the rest of my life. But I also realize how hypocritical that sounds because unless I go see a movie for work, or if it's a really strange indie movie that D wants to see that I get dragged to like Opera
Anatomy of a
Plaza
Fall.
or some random theater that I didn't even know existed in San Francisco because that's where it's playing like on film, then for the most part, I'm watching all this stuff at home.
Yeah.
It just is that.
That's what me and Mike want.
Do y'all ever think about Anatomy for a Fall? Did she do it? Did she push her husband? I don't know. You know what I mean? I was there.
I love that Mike is one of the few people in the office that has
There.
watched Anatomy of a
I have a
Fall.
conversation with you anytime about that movie.
Which one's that?
Anatomy of a Fall is an indie film from
Sandra Hewler.
Yeah, they're
she
up in
won an
the
Academy Award
Swiss
for it.
Alps. Husband, wife, kid, and a dog.
Kind of like the Jinx.
It sounds
but-
like
You
me and
know,
Jen would like.
husband's a
Yeah.
douchebag. Wife was up to here with it. Maybe she pushed him out the window.
Got it.
Maybe she didn't. We don't know.
a shocking amount of usage of 50 cents.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It kind of
What's it? Which one was it?
PIMP.
Yeah, PIMP. Now, where a lot of people in this conversation about movie theaters nowadays go, we've lost the movie theater experience because now people are talking, they're on their cell phones a lot. Did you have that at Garfield? Did
I
you
really
feel
wanted
that?
to be. Garfield was a great movie. I feel like to be on your phone at times.
I feel like if you're on your phone, Garfield, that one's gonna give you slack.
we had
for
kids
that.
behind us. We had a kind of funny best friend in the row who put the pieces together on when and where we were seeing it. Came over.
Shout
He's like,
out to them.
"Hey, can I hang out with you guys?" We're like, "Yeah, this is great. It was
Hell
awesome."
yeah.
We got a photo with him in the empty theater at the end.
Hell yeah.
I mean, yeah, that is. God, I can't believe you guys saw Garfield. That movie looked
It was
like
fun.
such
Legitimately, I
garbage.
had a good time with it.
Really?
Yeah, but like
Bad
I said
movie,
when we were
though.
talking out there, I was like, It was just how Tim feels about every film, where he's just able to be like, "This is great," and I'm usually like, "I hate this action shit." Blah blah blah. Garfield, I was like, "This is fun. It's a modern cartoon. This is great."
That's not exactly what you said about Tim.
What did I say?
You said I viewed it just exactly how Tim views films. Hey, great! There's some colors on the screen.
I did that. But no, I mean, Tim would be the first to tell you, like the Kong Empire one that I fucking hated, and then like Fast and
God, we
Furious.
had so much fun at Kong Empire.
I broke the news to Jen yesterday. Like I fucking was like going to jail where I'm like, I got bad news, Jen. I forgot during COVID we were on all these in reviews. I gotta go see Bad Boys next week.
Bad Boys.
She's like, that's fine. I'm like, no, I don't want to go see Bad Boys on a Monday. I want to come home and play Starfield. I don't want to fucking go see Martin Lawrence fucking.
Oh, come on. You're going to have a great time. We're all going to have a great
man.
time.
I think
seeing
this
Bad
one's going
Boys
to be
together.
fun.
I mean, we better.
They're back.
But this is interesting. We're talking about celebrities. We're talking about movie theaters. I have a question for all of you about that.
Pose it, please.
But first, I'll remind you that this is the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table, all coming to hang out and talk with each other about whatever it is they want to talk about. And for some reason, you don't want to fucking click on because you have a Garfield vendetta that you need to look inside of yourself. Because let me tell you, you're not getting another Fury Road, but you are getting more Garfield. So get on the winning team.
What is he eating on your shirt?
So
smiley face
this
of some
is
sort?
again golden age Garfield. So if you, as I'm sure you remember, Garfield came around in 1978, where that "Have a nice day" smiley
10
was still
years
very
before I was
important,
born.
right? Still very important.
Forrest Gump made that.
Exactly. And so this is him tearing it up, saying "Have a nice day."
Got it.
It's a
Didn't
classic.
realize that smiley face was such a cultural.
I hear you,
moment.
Joe. It's okay. You didn't do your history.
What was
No.
he eating in the movie? Was it lasagna
Oh my god,
all
what
the
was
time?
this guy eating in the movie?
What was he eating in the movie?
Pizza, lasagna, meatballs. You know
Lot
what I
of
mean?
Italian.
Oh, he loves Italian. You know
Loves
that.
Italian.
He was getting in on that some other stuff. He had some chicken. You know, they had a big one of those big like hams on a stick.
Was Roger right in terms of the amount of
He
baby
clocked.
Garfield?
He kept track. He clocked it at 7 minutes that there was
Oh.
a baby Garfield. He was happy with that.
Okay.
He didn't feel like, because again, Roger was all weird last week that they're going to use baby Garfield just as a marketing ploy. He's going to be in there for 1 minute, yada, yada. 7 minutes of baby Garfield, 2 sections with him. I thought they did nice.
It
Adorable.
seems like I would have expected him to be outraged by only 7 minutes of baby Garfield, but
I think it was more than what he was expecting. I
Got
think
it.
he expected 30 seconds, and then they made a bunch of toys about it. So I
But
think-
also, didn't he hate the idea of baby Garfield in the first place? So why was he happy with more baby Garfield?
It wasn't that he hated the idea of baby Garfield. He hated the idea of them just making baby Garfield to sell toys.
got it.
So if baby Garfield actually had a point in the movie, he wasn't going to be upset
Well,
about
they
it.
made a
We were
baby
on some
Yoda.
content.
Yoda.
where
That's
he
what it was.
We were on some content together where he was talking mad shit about baby Garfield, just the idea.
He did that last week on this very podcast, which is why he's not here now.
Yeah.
You know what I
being
mean?
punished.
We just can't. Yeah, exactly.
Also, he got an AI tattoo. What the fuck, man?
You know what,
What?
I mean?
Explain the AI tattoo again.
Roger!
That's crazy.
Because I was here. I missed this last.
Well, again, this is
Yeah.
apparent view cancer. You know what I mean? People are turning it off right now. But
well, anytime you put Roger or anything, it's like
no,
you're asking
don't be
for
mean.
people
You
just to go off the
don't
cliff
do
with it.
that. We love
Don't do
Roger.
that
Don't
to
do that.
him.
The Roger got a
That's
tattoo.
the line we're going.
That's
We're
the
gonna go
line.
make fun of his
That's
tattoo,
the
his terrible
line.
tattoo. That's the line we're drawing.
Terrible. What's the guy, Mr. Cheddar?
Mr. Cheddar.
He wanted a dumb tattoo, he said. He was overthinking his
Who the
first
hell is
tattoo.
Mr. Cheddar?
So he wanted
It's
a
the
dumb
mouse and the
tattoo.
lizard.
Sure.
And so what he
God
said
forbid
was,
you overthink something that's permanent on your body.
he overthought it for a long time and then stopped overthinking it. And Barrett, can you grab him or call him in here? And ended up getting the one and only Mr. Cheddar. But who's an internet meme, but I didn't know. I don't think you should know him either, but apparently
I
all
feel
the-
No,
like
but
if you
I'm
saw
sure
the
in 10
picture, you'd
years
be
it'll
like,
get-
"Oh, I've seen this before."
Okay.
Mr. Cheddar.
I've
seen
never
this
seen
guy?
this in
I've
my
never
entire
seen
life.
Mr.
But
Cheddar
I'm
in my
sure
life.
in 10 years it'll get co-opted as a MAGA slogan or something like that.
That was
We
my
had that
fears. We had the
conversation.
conversation last
Don't
week
get any
about
frogs
Pepe Le
tattooed on
Frog,
yourself
Pepe Le
anytime.
Frog or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he went with this, but the night before he was going to go get it tattooed, he discovered it was AI generated. So now
Oh,
I just keep throwing that out when we talk about Mr. Cheddar.
Wow.
Do you actually have this
Get in
tattoo?
here, Garfield friend.
Oh, you didn't know about this?
No, I didn't know you
Garfield
had a
and
tattoo.
Show it there. Throw it up there. There it is, Mr. Cheddar.
That's it. Anya.
You decided to get that on your body, huh?
I love that you have the exact reaction my dad had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The same look, the kind of the disgust a little bit, kind of like
That's
the
not disgust.
curiosity.
It's I on the one hand, I respect the mental exercise of just letting go and doing something because
Yeah.
I think for as an artist,
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly important to not get bogged down by the semantics of something. So I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate letting it go and just having fun
Yeah.
and just getting that thing tattooed on you. But as a person in their 40s, it's a terrible decision. You made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, I mean,
it
like,
honestly makes more sense of when you told me you were getting a tattoo, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what are you getting it of?" You didn't tell me.
yeah, I mean, well, because I wanted to be surprised. I'm also thinking about content, right? Like, me and Greg are the only people thinking about content at this company.
Get a
you know what I
tattoo
mean?
for content.
We're thinking about it. We're making content, and I was doing it for the content side of things. But in terms of like hiding it, I'm not ashamed of it. I think it's a
shouldn't be
beautiful
ashamed of it.
tattoo. No,
I think it's great.
I mean,
You
it
are
is-
wearing pants over it right now.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, like, I also never wear long pants. I mean, no, not wear long pants. I
He
guess.
doesn't wear shorts.
My
Yeah,
thing
that's
is,
the right way to
my
say
thing
that.
is, I think it's a great way to just break it off. If you're gonna do the thing where you get multiple tattoos all over the place, you got to have some fucking.
gotta have a
weird-ass
stupid
ones.
start one,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to have some weird ass.
Yeah.
My first one
that
was
sets
a
the
knife.
tone.
Yeah,
See, that's serious. That's a really.
Should I
serious
add a
one.
knife to this one?
I think you should add
Yeah.
him
Put a
holding
knife
a
in his
knife,
hand.
and then put in his other hand another Mr. Cheddar's head that he cut off.
Oh,
See
I
what I'm
like
saying?
that.
Now
I
we're in
like
full
that.
blown.
Now we're cooking.
I'm just giving you shit about this. By
No,
the way.
no,
You
no,
know,
no. I get it,
you
I
can
get
do
it.
you.
No, I totally
It's a
get it.
tattoo,
And
you
I'll
get a
come back
tattoo.
to it. You know what I mean? To throw it in your face. You know that we are the only two people thinking about this place, thinking about the content of this place. Joey, 9,479. What's that number?
Killer Clowns preview?
That's that's the amount of people who watch Furiosa in review.
Oh.
So even though
Yep.
the Garfield tattoo podcast was a huge failure, more people care about Garfield than they do Furiosa. So you can stick that up your tailpipe, all right?
Oh.
Boof that. And remember that there's one cat that rules the day at Kind of Funny, and it's Garfield.
Okay.
Yep.
Closely followed by Nermal.
Poor Normal. He has got a bad rap.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil the
You
cameo.
can spoil
Oh.
the shit out of this for me because this movie looks like garbage. It looks like a money grab. Is this Chris Pratt doing Garfield?
It is Chris Pratt doing
Not
Garfield.
even trying to do a voice of Garfield that we would even come close to
Does
thinking
Garfield
about.
have a voice?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's
I mean,
Bill
the
Murray,
Venkman, yeah.
or it's that sort of like really subdued, sort of like older curmudgeon voice. Whereas Chris Pratt's just like, "Hey, I'm Garfield. Let's have some fun."
Well, that's, no,
Basically, his Mario
That's
voice.
Mark
Mark Wahlberg.
It's always Mark Wahlberg. It always comes down to Mark
cried
Wahlberg.
twice during it, all right? So you can just stick that up
Garfield?
your ass. Yeah, and I laughed
you-
hysterically throughout. Sometimes probably not when I'm supposed to laugh, but it was fun.
You have some problems. You
I do have some problems. I love a cat named Garfield. And my boss is a Jewish carpenter. Back to it. Kind of funny. Yada, yada, yada. Live all the time.
Jesus? Is Jesus your boss?
I didn't
That's
know
beautiful.
that we
That's
had,
beautiful.
I didn't know that's
didn't
how
know
the
we-
hierarchy and kind
So
of
let me
funny
get
works.
this straight. Let me clear the air here. Let's just I'm gone 1 week and here
Benny B. Good says, Greg, are you factoring in podcast numbers? That's neither here nor there. We're not talking about that.
No.
We
Yeah.
chart very well in the podcast world. We're
let me
talking
get
about
this
the
straight.
YouTube numbers.
I'm gone a week.
You weren't? Were you
hot
gone a
here.
week?
I wasn't on
Oh,
last
on the
week's episode
podcast.
for some reason. I
Can
don't
I
know
get
where
the
the hell
AC
I
at some
was.
point?
I'm gone, and in that time, I take my eye off the fucking the ball
That's you've
for
never had
1
your eye on
second.
it.
Mm-hmm.
That my hands leaves the steering wheel for 1 second. Roger gets an AI tattoo. Greg becomes a devout Catholic all of a sudden. And apparently, Roger and Greg are the only two that actually care about
About
content
movie
here at
theaters.
Kind of
Content.
Funny.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
We're the ones thinking through. We're thinking fourth dimensionally.
I get it.
You guys are chasing trends. Oh,
You're creating
Mad
trends.
Max used to be a big deal. I'm sure the new one will be. Me and Roger are like, nobody believes in Garfield. We'll double down because we're going to make them believe.
You're gonna
Yeah. You know
be
what I
the
mean?
supreme Garfield influencer.
Exactly. You know what I mean? When there's a second Garfield and there ain't no, another Ghostbusters, we're fucking set. We're made in the shade. People are going to know to come here because we were on the tip of the sword.
Oh, we're the ones that introduced them
We're
to
riding the
Ghostbusters.
razor's edge.
Yes, we
You know what I
are.
mean?
Nick, you also missed the portion of time on the podcast last week where they talked about getting a Garfield Ghostbusters collaboration tattoo.
See, that's where Roger would have shined. Mr. Cheddar, notwithstanding, you put Garfield in a Ghostbusters uniform with a freaking proton pack on his
Yeah,
back.
You read my mind.
I mean, that's gold.
Yeah.
That's your
I
next
believe there was an
tattoo.
Odie Slimer ghost.
Oh my Odie Slimer ghost. John is John, I guess. He'd just be in the background. Maybe he's the William Atherton character trying to shut him down the entire time. Maybe, and I'm just spitballing here.
You don't wanna
William
be
Atherton
Sigourney-
also in Die Hard, yeah, Nakatomi Plaza behind
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. I like where
You
your
don't
head's
want
at.
John to be Sigourney Weaver?
John could be Sigourney Weaver.
He'd be a
sure.
great
He could
Louis
also,
Tully.
he would be. He's tall. I think of him more of like a Harold Ramis.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
got. You want a Louis Tully? You got. That's what Nermal's for.
Support us with the Kind of Funny membership. You could be watching live as you record it, just like Benny B. Good is, Trippy Foo is, Chris B. is, Murders with Mertens, a horror film podcast star. Of course, the Kind of Funny membership, you can watch live as recorded, get it ad-free, and get my daily podcast / video vlog, Gregway, for your listening pleasure. It is exclusive to you. Of course, you'd also have good karma in supporting this 11-person small business in San Francisco. If you have no bucks, toss away, no big deal. Like, subscribe, share, use your Twitch chat thing, revenue. You know how to do it. Of course.
Good one.
You like that? I like to keep it loose.
You're on a roll today.
I'm having a great show. See how many views this fucking gets, you know? Because that's the problem with these sick fucks who watch, you know?
Right.
Oh, Greg Miller hates me. I got to click on it. It's like those videos where people step on you.
Oh, like the porn videos where people step on you? Okay, cool.
Of course, you can get the show for free. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Nathan Lamoth, Karen Lindener, Fargo Brady, Alex J. Sandoval, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew, who all supported us on patreon.com/kindafunny at above and beyond level like you could to get the happy hour, to get your name read, to get exclusive merch. What's this month's merch?
What is this month's merch?
Well,
May?
Oh, it's the Helldivers?
Yes,
Art.
the Helldivers are. Yeah.
I lost complete track of time. I was like, I
Well,
have
Jude's
no
right
idea
there,
what day
so
we
we're
are.
I
on
know,
that
and that's the only thing I
I
could
was
think
like,
of in my
are we
head, but we haven't
talking-
talked about it yet.
Okay. Look
We
forward
got
to
good
finding out
stuff
what June
coming
is.
next month
Yeah.
as well, just so everyone knows.
Today,
Andy's literally
we're
working
brought
on it
to you
right
by
now.
Shady Rays. And let's
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses brand that has over 300,000 5-star reviews. They are on a mission to match affordability with durability, making top quality shades accessible to everyone. They have tons of styles and colors to pick from, so finding the perfect polarized shades is a breeze. If you want an upgrade, we recommend their premium Color Rush lenses. Crafted with rare earth materials, these lenses bring high impact color to life, elevating reds, blues, and greens. Here at Kinda Funny, we all love wearing our Shady Rays, whether it is Tim looking dope doing his Pokemon Go walks, Snow Mike rocking the snow goggles, or Joey just looking fantastic in her tangle-free shades. If your shades go MIA or take a hit, don't sweat it. They've got lost and broken protection, so you're covered from day one. And if you don't love your shades, exchange them or return them for free within 30 days. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, that is shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off polarized sunglasses.
All right, we're back, and I've been trying to get this one in the mix for a while. And
Yeah.
it seems like we're having a good movie-themed episode here
In the
because, of
mix.
course, Garfield is storming the box offices.
Yeah.
I was so mad. No popcorn bucket. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't think they were that invested.
Oh no, they made them.
They
Oh, really?
exist.
Garfield popcorn buckets exist. Our movie theater didn't have them.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Did you ask about them?
No, the staff there at 12:45 on Tuesday
Yeah.
was not feeling the questions.
Where are you guys? Where did you guys go?
Cinemark, Daly City.
Oh, that's interesting.
They had like just a generic. They had some upcoming movie bucket, but it wasn't a
Wow.
theme bucket, right?
Wow.
There you go.
That's a pretty
nice
dope
movie
bucket. I do want to say though, you can't just make a popcorn bucket and have it be like a thing, right?
That's what they're
Everyone's,
trying to do.
Why
everyone's
not?
chasing the power of the Dune bucket,
Yeah.
and I just want to tell you, like that was a once in a lifetime lightning in a bottle
Look how
sort of
cute
thing.
this is.
That's baby Garfield, baby.
Has a strap so you can
Why
carry it
would
like
Roger
a purse.
get that on his leg?
I mean, but maybe he will the next
That's
time around.
upcoming.
He's going to get more. When do you think he gets his next one? A month?
Kind of funny day.
2 months?
I say next year at some point.
I'm going to say 2 years from now.
Wow. I don't think you guys are taking the Garfield tattoo as seriously as me and Roger are
Seriously.
taking it.
It's on the
Next
thermometer.
year.
Joey?
Uh-huh.
You're correct. I didn't. In my head, I wasn't throwing you into the pile of people who didn't get it, but I understand that the way I
you.
spoke it could sound like that.
Maybe.
I know you're always on my side.
I
Always.
definitely want to get to this topic because we've been trying to do this topic for 2 weeks. Having said that, I have two things to talk about before that.
Sure.
One, what if, and this would make you want to talk about great content.
Yeah.
You want to talk about fucking great content.
I
Mike,
want to talk about
lock in.
the creme
Great
de la
content.
creme. All right.
What if we somehow figured out how to make all of Roger's tattoo decisions for him and we make content out of that? And I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
But how do we get it so that Roger gets a Garfield tattoo right on his belly button? Like
Have you
right
ever
here.
seen like when you're at a butcher shop or some kind of steak place where they have the silhouette of the cow and then they do like the dotted lines like this is a rib roast and this is the shank?
Yes.
Kind of funny day. 10-year anniversary.
That's what we do
spinning
for
the wheel,
Roger.
doing the thing. We put up Roger's body and we've sectioned it off.
I love
and
this.
you can hit whatever tier and then choose your land.
Dude, I
and say
love
what the tattoo
this.
on
And then
it.
we make content every time he has to get one of those horrible tattoos. We go in and we film it,
Well.
and we interview him, and then we call his dad and we say, "Yeah, he got another one. What's your disappointment level?"
Well,
sir?
I think once we break through the fact that he's cut up his body as if it's a gold rush where everybody's running out to stake their claim, I think the dad will have such disappointment at that level that you can't go lower than that.
I'm gonna get Roger to get that.
Wow.
Why on the side? People get the weirdest fucking
What the
tattoos to
fuck?
me. Why right on the side
Wait,
of your
let me see it
body
again.
would you get that tattoo?
Great
It's
tattoo.
the Garfield dragon, or maybe it's a puma cat. I don't know. What if
Tiger, Mike.
What if
the
we
word
get on
you're looking
his-
for is
A
tiger.
puma cat.
cat? You know what I mean?
It's a puma cat.
See what I
Some
mean?
sort
Like,
of
what's
cat.
very offensive about this is
Yeah.
like they got the Garfield has the whiskers coming off the side of his head.
Yeah.
And they have it correct on the left side, but the right side they gave it to him as,
Gave him a
as a
little beard.
goatee and
Little-
then don't
yeah.
have anything on the left. That
Well,
would
that's-
drive me crazy.
That's like an iconic tattoo, right?
Yeah,
like the
I think so.
Chinese tiger,
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
like doing that thing. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I would get
now.
Roger-
I've reversed that. That's a fucking sick tattoo.
Garfield's face on his belly button, but the mouth is the belly button hole, so he goes.
Right. Or
That's not like a
Garfield
facial expression.
underneath his arm, so when he raises it up, it looks like Garfield's yawning.
That's
His mouth
crazy.
opens up.
What if he
That's
does that like,
incredibly
where
painful.
like you know how like people get stuff written on their ribs there?
Yeah.
Like I hate Mondays.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean?
And then on the other
I
rib,
feel like
lasagna.
that might be the easiest sell out of all of these for Roger.
I'm just saying, like, you guys really want to talk about making content. This is the best of both worlds, right? We get paid to pay Roger to get tattoos.
Yeah.
So we fund the
Yeah.
tattoo. He's not gonna have to ever pay for another tattoo again if we do this, right?
A lot of
Great,
people
man.
would love that.
Great
Right?
deal.
We're Twitch streaming this. If Mike puts his thinking cap on, right? Like, how many gifted subs to get Roger a terrible tattoo?
Tattoo
the more,
one,
the
tattoo
worse.
two, yep.
Exactly, right?
Mhm.
And we lay them out, and we have Andy design some of them, and then maybe I design a couple of them, and maybe some of them
Terrifying.
are just AI generated because apparently Roger loves AI generated art. This is a great idea.
feel
This is
Roger
fucking great.
seething
See, if we
in
were
the
a
other
fucking
room.
real channel, if we had designs,
Mr. Beast
if we
in
were
it.
fucking Mr. Beast, this is the kind of shit that we would do. We would just exclusively do shit that completely and totally ruined Roger's psyche. Think about it.
I think he'd be in though. Roger gets
he'd
it.
totally
Again,
be
he
in.
cares about content like I care about content.
But it's like it's like edgy, right? It's like we're on the razor's edge, not to quote you from 5 minutes ago. But that would be the kind of content that, oh my god, the internet would love that shit.
I'm not against it.
It's like fan controlled football, but fan controlled tattooing of Roger. Remember how much they
People
loved that first season?
They love
Remember how much they loved that first season?
Yeah. What was your second thing? You had two things to bring up.
I think it kind of means it. I was like, should we be trolling the audience with more polarizing topics for our for our podcast? I know we do that a lot, but I think about this often. I was like, how do we have the most ridiculously polarizing title of a podcast, and then when they get in, it's just so benign.
That's because we're nice guys.
I know.
That's the whole reason. We can't.
I'm saying,
can't,
should we do more of that?
I mean, I told him I hate him to start. Let's see how that works.
Yeah, but they're used to that shit now.
I know.
Now we have to go like full,
Sick little
like
fuckos.
harder.
What is that?
These little
look
pain
like?
sluts out there, they just need it harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The topic I've been trying to get to for about 4 weeks now is which celebrities do you pledge allegiance to? What I mean by this is that who do you see on the bill? They're in this movie. They're in the trailer. That you go, I got to go see that. I got to be a part of that. I did a Greg way about this for myself. Where it was, I feel like I had those people for a long time, and then life got not even the Ben and Jen stuff. Even before then, I just fell off the horse. Kind of wasn't worried about it anymore. You're Bill Murray's, you're Kevin Smith's. So I wasn't making it a point to go out there. And this is what I was talking about in the Greg way of like with movie theaters struggling and like all these different things. I need to get back to that. I need to get back to supporting people because this is always the argument. Even with Furiosa this week was one of the other things I've seen thrown around is Anya Taylor-Joy isn't the big. She's awesome. She's not a movie star yet. She's not a Tom Cruise. She's not somebody who's going to necessarily put asses in the seats, kind of thing. Which I don't have a horse in the race. We can discuss that, blah blah. But it is that idea of like I should make a point to go out and see these people. And so I wanted us to come here and figure out who we pledge allegiance to, maybe 2 or 3 apiece. Okay. And I started with already in my. I'm cheating because I already did my thing or whatever, right? But of course, the first would be Annette Bening.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you seen Naiad?
How many?
No, but I heard
Okay.
good things. This
You
is
can
my whole
watch it
thing.
right now. It's on Netflix.
I know.
Really good.
This is my whole thing is that, again, I've known that I love Annette Bening. Everything I've ever seen this woman in. American Beauty, come on. Knock it out of the park. You kidding me over
I've
here?
never seen it.
You've never seen American Beauty?
No, I have a lot of like weird gaps. Never seen that. Never seen Princess Bride.
Okay. Yeah, you really like Princess Bride.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
I saw that, and then I got so thrown. I forgot the others. Yeah. Oh, American President. American President. She's so good.
So good.
So I was like, you know what? What happened is
can
that
watch that tonight.
we saw a trailer. I saw a trailer that I then brought to Jen for her approval because she makes all the decisions. For Apples Never Fall.
I started watching that.
Peacock series kind of looked like it's from the woman who does Big Little Lies.
Yeah.
And then it's got
Is it
her.
Leanne Moriarty? Is
Yes,
her name?
that sounds right. It's got her. It's got Alison Brie. It's got the guy from Jurassic Park, Dr. Sam Neill, who plays
yeah.
Sam Neill in Jurassic Park.
It's got
Yeah, I know him.
Okay.
Dr.
It's got the guy who looks like Chris
Alan.
Reeves from White Lotus. That isn't him.
Yeah, the
Anyways.
guy, new Jim from The Office.
Yes. And so it was one of those,
Jake
like, I
Lacy?
saw the trailer. The trailer looked dope. Showed it to Jen. Great. That forgot all about it. It was all out on Peacock. Went to it and had the rotten score. I'm like, it's a rotten thing. We started it. We watched the whole entire thing. Had a great time.
I watched like 3 episodes.
Just great
Yeah.
watching these casts, be these characters and interact and stuff. When it was over, and I was like, that was good, right? And she's like, yeah, I enjoyed it. I went and read reviews why people didn't like it, and it was one of those like, they tiptoe to this, but they never do anything with it. And they talk about, women's liberation and never do anything. I was like, all right, I see that, but I still had a fun ride with it. But Annette Bening, and back to this Naiad thing, what?
Women's liberation. It's just
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, no. I'm not even feminism. I guess you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Of acting like there's something to say about the mom who gives everything up to be the
Got it,
mom,
yeah.
kind of thing, right?
just a funny.
Women's lib.
Yeah.
These skirts over here. Anyways, Joey, go get me a cocktail and a smoke. Turns into Mad Men live on the podcast. But yeah, anyways. I understood it when I read it, but I was like, it wasn't a criticism of mine or Jen. Like, we just enjoyed the
Yeah.
show overall, right? I enjoyed the journey, maybe not the
It's also one of
destination.
those like, was the book better than the show? All
And,
that
and a lot of people, and a lot of
discourse.
people had the Big Little Lies was so amazing. This one isn't nearly as good, which I also agree with. But that's HBO versus Peacock, probably,
Yeah.
and showrunners and yada yada yada. Anyways, though, I came out of that and I was like, damn, I had a lot of fun with that. If I would have been on my own, I wouldn't have watched it probably because I would have seen the score and been like, there's something else, or I won't watch anything. I'll just play a game, whatever. And I was like, damn, I gotta commit. And so that was the first one I want to put on my list is Annette Bening, and so I know I need to see Naiad, which is her and Jodie Foster, right?
Yes.
And it's the swimming thing.
Yes.
Okay.
It is a biographical, biographical movie about a swimmer named, what's her first name?
Diane.
Diane Naiad, thank
Yeah.
you. Who was like a marathon swimmer. She swam
Got it.
from Cuba to Florida, I want to say, and that was the whole big deal. But she always failed at it, and then later in life, when she was much older, she was like, I think I can do it, and then gave it a bunch of attempts. It's a crazy ass movie. Supposedly, there's a little controversy surrounding her now. Did she actually do a lot of the things that she said she did? But you know what?
Rode a dolphin halfway through.
I mean, at one point you do hear a jet ski, and then the camera goes blank. Anyway, that's like I saw something about that, but who the heck knows? Maybe I misread that. But it's definitely worth it, and the performances they both turn in. Jodie Foster is one of those people that might be on my list.
Jodie Foster, come on.
I'll give you a Jodie Foster, and I'll tell you why. Jodie Foster obviously has been acting for the better part of 6 decades now, since the 70s.
She started as a teen.
She
right?
started
Or
as a
preteen?
teen when she was in Taxi Driver,
Yeah.
and then
She had all those Disney movies she used to do.
she had
like
the bad. She was a
Background
Bad
Cat.
News Bears, right?
Yeah, she was a
bad news.
You know, she had a bunch of stuff, so she's been acting for the longest time. But for me, I've always enjoyed her performance as an actor. Obviously, one of my all-time favorite movies. One of those that if it's on for 5 seconds, I'm like, fuck, I got to watch the rest of this. Silence of the Lambs, of course,
Yeah.
incredible. One
Gotta-
of Dee's favorite movies. Her favorite. Something said about my wife that I just realized. Her 2 favorite movies are Silence of the Lambs and Seven. Should look into that at some point. Love that, but not the least. One of the other reasons why I really like Jodie Foster is because I used to work for her. So when I interned at Egg Pictures, which was her production company at Paramount Pictures. So I got to meet her a couple times. She's very, very nice.
Nice.
Very hardworking, and it was really
Call her
cool.
on the
So
show.
cool.
What's that?
Call her and get her on the show.
Oh yeah, I'll call her right now. What's Tim doing right now? It's a good call. But yeah, she took a bit of a break, I think, and now came back, and she's just had banger after banger after banger of great projects. It's
Yeah,
Jodie
True
Foster's awesome.
Detective was another one where it was like, I don't know if I love the destination, but the journey and her acting and everything there I liked a lot.
Yeah, I do. I think that was definitely one of the ones where a lot of the parts came together okay. I wish it had been slightly different, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed it altogether, and I do give them kudos for kind of going a little bit more into a different vibe with
Yeah.
True Detective than they had before. So they had to do something different. I think that was pretty cool.
Just a quick one before it goes too far up the chat and the live chat. Of course, you could be doing it with your Kind of Funny membership. Mike O'Leary says on my commentary, she's wonderful, but Annette Bening being get your butt in the seats actress at the #1 spot is wild. And again, that should give you a window into the kind of
Yeah.
film I will
See?
go make a point
Yeah.
to go see.
Yeah, but you're not going to theaters to go see Annette Bening movies.
I'm saying
right?
I'm saying I need to, right? I need to start doing that.
I mean, she'd have to start being in movies again.
I mean,
that
she's
come out in
she's playing to
theaters.
me. She's playing to Netflix. She's playing to Peacock.
And see, that's my thing
#1
is
show,
I
Peacock.
think,
This is awesome.
and we can go around the table. There's not a ton of stars that would get me to actually go to the movies. I mean, I think of the celebrities that if I see them on a streaming movie and I go, oh, I missed that in theaters, it's going to pique my curiosity. I'm definitely going to watch the trailer. Going to be like, this is one we should watch.
Yeah.
But like, with the exception of like a Tom Cruise movie, and he's definitely on my list of like Tom Cruise made Maverick 2 or whatever it's going to be. I don't know too many people other than franchises that I would rush to theaters to see.
Yeah, but are you rushing to the movie to see Tom Cruise, or are you going because you care about Top Gun?
I'm going
Like if
to
he's in a new IP, like Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever they call it now.
sure, then no. It needs to be that perfect combination of all the elements of like it's a nostalgia play with obviously bringing Top Gun back, or it's a hey, this is Dead Reckoning Part 2. And man, he really has a lot of making up to do for part 1. So let's see how this one turns out.
Yeah.
But Tom Cruise making those like epic action movies, I think might be one of the few like last living sort of real Hollywood star type power movies that you could possibly put out there. And I think they're dying, honestly. I don't
100%.
think.
Remember, everybody wanted to, with all due respect, give the crown to The Rock. And say, oh, you're going to put him in, people are going to see it.
I mean, he had that. Yeah, I mean, there was a moment where The Rock was a tastemaker for sure.
Now we're here where it's time and time again, right? He's in these movies and they just don't move the needle.
Yeah, I think I think Mike and I talk about this a lot, actually, ad nauseum on Discord at night. But he runs. We actually do. He runs the same. He runs into the same issues as the Kevin Hart's, where it's just he became too saturated and he stopped. I think he took his eye off the ball of like actual good projects, which actually I'm very excited for the Rock's next new project.
The
new project, which is
wrestling one or the boxing
the MMA.
MMA.
He's playing, and I now can't remember the guy's name. Mark Curry, who is called the.
It's the A24 movie.
It's an A24 movie, and it's about a guy who was one of the
Mark
originals.
Kerr.
Mark Kerr,
Doesn't
thank
chat.
you. Chat. What was his name? It wasn't Brain Smasher. It was like the Smashing Machine. I think is what his name was. He was famous for beating the living shit out of people in like pride fights.
Yeah.
And it is it's going to be a fascinating
They
story.
released
It's
that image of him and you're like, holy shit, doesn't he look like The Rock.
great role for The Rock.
Yeah.
I think he can absolutely do that. But that's the shit that I'd rather him do. I want him to stop making the Red Notices, stop making the skyscrapers. For the love of God, stop making movies that we can all tell you're just checking shit off a list of like what you have to do next on your daily routine before you get back to Big Bertha or whatever to get jacked
He
out of
loves
your
that
gourd.
bike.
Take a step back and just, take a couple breaths and focus on making cool shit again.
I bought a shampoo.
You bought the Rock shampoo.
Yeah.
You bought shampoo of a man who
have
notoriously
hair.
is bald and shaves his head.
Yeah.
That's
He had a
great.
funny little joke about it in Target. If I had hair, if I still had my hair, I'd like this shampoo. I was like, there you go, good enough.
What was
$7, get in the cart. I need a shampoo.
I'm going to misquote this, but there's a movie a long time
Smell my
ago
hair.
where the guy's like,
Oh, you know what? Smells good. Got a nice little pop to it.
Beechwood,
That's a
sandalwood,
good one.
something like that.
That's a good
what's the
one.
movie where the guy says, never trust a bald barber? He has no respect for your hair.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I'll look that up. That's an
Not a
old
line that stuck with me if I
chat will know.
Rock's had a couple fun ones, though.
Mike, who are you gonna start? Who are
I
you
have a
gonna-
couple really good ones.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you for coming along this ride with me. Of course, I know Nick is going to roll his eyes, and I think a lot of you watching and listening know my movie preferences, know who I usually gravitate towards. It's that early 2000s stoner comedy that I love so much. I will get the big one out of the way because Nick is
The
going to
big
roll his
one.
eyes. Kevin Hart. I mean, I'm there day one for Lyft. I'm there day one for Me Time with Marky Mark. I'm there night one for Night School with Tiffany Haddish. Okay?
Yeah.
Did you
Kevin
see
Hart
Get
and
Hard?
I'll be
Was
there.
that him and
with
Will Ferrell?
Uh-huh. So I'm there all day, every day for my man Kevin Hart, any day of the week. But then we get into the bag. Seth Rogen. Your boy Mike will be at a Seth Rogen movie in a heartbeat.
Sausage Party 3.
Sausage
or
Party.
whatever
They
the
did now
fuck
make
it
a
is.
third one.
I think they're making a second one right
second
now.
one. I was gonna
Okay.
say they had the second one.
I didn't love Sausage Party. A little too in poor taste for me. I didn't
Too
like it.
raunchy for
Too
Mike.
raunchy for Mike.
In his Tahoe
But I mean,
values.
Neighbors 2,
Very
The
fun.
Interview, Pineapple Express, This Is the End.
I'll tell
Is
you
he
what.
still making movies?
He does. I think he took a break to do more like producing and like and getting
Because he
behind
did
projects.
the Turtles movie.
He did the Turtles movie. He did the Amazon Invincible. You know, he
Yep.
brought that to screen. So I think he's doing a lot
He's in
more
it, too.
of stuff like that. That's right. He plays Alan. But I think Seth Rogen's one of those guys that I think is really, really smart. And I think he knows that you have to sort of diversify and try to do as many good
For sure.
projects as possible to stay relevant in Hollywood these days. Because there's way too the attention spans for anyone out there are so short that you cannot have a shit project come out or people will just forget that you exist.
He was in Super Mario Bros. The movie, which will now give him a second
Donkey
one,
Kong?
right? Because he was Donkey Kong. That's a big deal. A couple hidden gems in the
Pam
lineup
and Tommy.
The Long Shot.
Pam and Tommy was wild.
Mm-hmm.
The Long Shot was really good if you haven't seen The Long Shot.
Oh, that was
And-
really good.
yes,
with Charlize
very
Theron.
good. Oh man, that one made me
What
cry.
was
It was
I don't even
beautiful.
remember what it is.
She's a politician and he's a journalist that travels around with them, and they're very different, but then they like kind of fall in love.
Oh.
It was actually a really cute. Movie.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
And then of course The Night Before, if you're looking for you and your homies to go have a fun time, that's a great movie as
Is
well.
that where
that
the
one.
world ends?
No, that's one's before Christmas where they're gonna go party, and that's got
Joseph
say-
Gordon-Levitt and
Jay Barshall's he in it? I feel like he's in a lot of
no, it's
Captain America now.
yeah,
Anthony
Captain
Mackie,
America.
right?
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Mackie, yeah, it was
Good
really
Christmas
funny.
movie.
And then sticking with that crew, Danny McBride. You put Danny McBride in anything, I will show up.
Do you
for
watch
that.
Gemstones?
I love Gemstones
Yeah.
because of Danny
I
McBride.
haven't watched the last season.
I even watched Vice Principals which had Walter Goggins
Yeah,
in
yeah,
it. That was very good.
Walton.
But Eastbound and Down, come on. You put on Eastbound and Down,
Eastbound and
Jabroni,
Down.
that show rules.
McBride chooses really fucking weird projects, and I think he does that. It's such a smart thing for him because Eastbound and Down might be the most depressing thing you've ever watched in your life, but it's also fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
but it's good. He picks good projects. you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Couple more for you, really just keep going. The Workaholics cast. Adam Devine, Blake Anderson, Anders Holm. I will show up for those three guys any day of the week. They got fun stuff. And Adam is really spread out with the singing with Pitch Perfect, where it's
Did
like,
you watch the series?
yeah, you can
Is it
catch
good?
him in stuff where like, oh, we're just having fun together. And I love that. Like Game Over Man, which they got after Workaholics, which is just the three of them doing that on a Netflix movie, is very good, right? And so that guy really shined out of the three. Anders went out and did a Netflix show that I really liked called Champions, which is just him and his brother adopting
Watched a
Mindy
little bit of that.
Kaling's like child. It was pretty good. It was a fun time. Only one season though, so I wish they got more. And then two more I want to give for you. Rob Riggle.
Rob
Hell
Riggle.
yeah.
You put
Okay.
Rob Riggle in anything,
No,
I'll
Rob
be there,
Riggle
homie.
fucking rocks.
Here we go.
That dude
We're
is
about to hit
hilarious.
Rob Riggle season because it's holy moly time, people.
Yes,
it's
he's
summer.
back.
Let's fucking go.
I love Rob Riggle, and so I just look at some of his stuff and I go, that guy always makes me laugh,
He's the
and I
best
love
line
that.
Best line at 21 Jump Street. He's like, what are you doing? I don't like that. Put your tongue back in your
Put
mouth.
your tongue back in your mouth.
Gets me every
And
time.
I just want to give a shout out. There was a moment back in time where Owen Wilson was that guy for me. Him and Vince Vaughn.
Wedding Crashers.
I mean,
Yeah.
Joe Bit Taylor will always be one of my favorite movies of all time, and like I will see Owen Wilson in almost anything.
I'll tell you what, you want to talk about, we're talking about actors, but you want to talk about creators like Wes Anderson. Anytime he does anything, I don't rush to the theaters to see it because I don't really want that experience in the theaters. I'd rather be able to sit
That's an
in my
intimate
home,
thing.
be intimate, not have someone fucking texting behind me or whatever, and just watch that. And if you haven't watched them, he did a series of shorts that were written by Roald Dahl that are on Netflix right now, and they're all really, really good.
Really?
It's like an anthology series where they're like 10 minutes a piece, but he used the
Yeah.
same 5 or 6 actors.
See,
and
he's
it's
one
really,
of my
really
guys
good.
who I used to. Like, you know, when I found Rushmore and then went back for Bottle Rocket and then, like, you know, went that way with all of his career or whatever, I was like, damn, yeah. But I forget at what point maybe he did the Fox movie, right?
Fantastic,
And-
Mr.
yeah.
And I
Fox.
feel like that was one where I was like, I don't want to see this. And then I kind of just, once I lost one, I didn't get to a bunch of them.
He
I
went.
haven't loved the last couple. French Connection didn't really do it for me.
I loved it. It's weird.
It's not my
He's
favorite.
gone off the like, you know. He's been experimenting a little bit more, but he's had like waves of stuff.
Yeah.
Where like Bottle Rockets is probably his most accessible film, if you would say, because it's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
ish.
I mean,
it's before he became like super highly
avant-garde
stylized
and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Rushmore. I found.
Rushmore is the least accessible one for me. I
Really?
think. Yeah, that's the one where I go back to watch that and I'm like, this does not work for me because it's so dark. It's so
They're
fucked up and mean.
scrubs. Oh, are they?
Oh, are they? But then I watched. I used to really be into him when, like, I liked his more like mainstream movies, like Moonrise Kingdom,
Tenenbaums.
Tannenbaums. Tannenbaums was one I didn't like.
Oh, really?
But I liked the Grand Budapest Hotel. I thought those are like a little bit more fun, a little more cartoony. And then I watched the Darjeeling Limited, and I was like, holy shit, this might be his best movie. I never wanted to watch it. Was never really into travel, and then I travel around the world with Danielle. I come back and I go, I should watch this. And it's about brothers. It's about them and like connecting, and it's so good.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, whatever he does, I want to just experience it.
It's funny because I came to him through Bill Murray because it was that I was when I started buying DVDs and I was like, I want to this question, right? Like I pledged allegiance to Bill Murray, so I was buying every Bill Murray movie DVD, right? And like that was to get into Rushmore to then find it and then keep it going.
But did you like it more because this was one of the only guys that could actually get Bill Murray in every one of his movies if he wanted to?
I don't even know if I knew it was that hard to get Bill Murray at the time.
Okay.
After the fact, when I learned how hard it was to get Bill Murray to do anything, I was like, oh, that's pretty impressive.
Because to me, that's the most impressive thing.
For sure.
Is that for whatever reason, Bill's in everything. And even if it's just a little cameo, he can still get Bill, that shows the degree of respect that Bill has for him, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's cool.
I got a list. I've been preparing for this podcast
Love
for
it.
weeks at this point. We'll start at the beginning. The easy one is Greta Gerwig for me. We have the Barbie, which on my review, I'm not super high on, but has grown on me a lot. I love just the environment around Barbie last summer. We have Little Women, which historically, it was funny. I looked at the clip from the morning show where I was like, I don't give a fuck about Little Women. And then it was Greta Gerwig. It was an amazing cast. I think what she did with the character of Amy was really good and like modernized it. Well, contextualized it and modernized it kind of at the same time. And then Lady Bird, which is my movie. All girls' school, Sacramento. Like, you really can't get more joy than that.
God.
So
Lady Bird is so fucking good.
So good. So
My
we
favorite
won't talk about the fact that she went to my rival high school
Oh, that's okay.
in Sacramento, but
No one's
it's fine.
perfect.
So that's number one.
Do we know what her next thing is yet?
She's writing some stuff. Oh, she's doing Narnia, I think, which I don't give. I also don't.
Did you ever
care
watch
about.
Frances Ha?
It's on my Netflix
It's really
thing.
good. It's really good.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually what happens is I become like obsessed with someone, which is a lot of people on this list, and then I go back and watch all of their stuff.
Nice.
Like the next person, Lee Pace.
Interesting.
Usually will put me, which is funny because I like everything about him except for the Lord of the Rings stuff. It's a little bit unfortunate because he does very often go into fantasy and sci-fi, which are like not usually my favorite ones. But he's so fun and so charming. He's good in everything. Shout out to Andy for making me watch *Halt and Catch Fire*.
It's so good.
Which is maybe easily a top 5, probably top 3 favorite show of all time. He is so good in it. Mackenzie Davis is so good. Scoot McNairy, the other main character whose name I forget, Carrie Fishy, I think is her name.
Yeah, she's really good too.
It is incredible.
*Halt and Catch Fire* is one of those shows like Glow, where it just sort of is about the vibe and the moment of the thing, and less about the actual like flowing narrative, because it just kind of skips around.
It time jumps all the time.
It was. I remember like when they get to like the house, and you're like, that's weird, and then the season after that is just completely.
Then it's like super techie again.
Yeah, it was kind of wild. That's a good show.
I love that it went from the dynamic of him and Scoot McNairy and then completely switched. And it was like, actually, the Carrie Bishy Mackenzie Davis storyline is like way more compelling. So that was really fun. Pushing Daisies, obviously, so weird and quirky. And it kind of feels like a fever dream show that like would never get made today, but so good. I will attempt to watch anything that he's in. Sebastian Stan's another one that I did this with. His newer stuff is kind of touch and go for me, but I'll still
What do you
watch
count
it.
as newer stuff?
Maury 8 people.
No, I loved Fresh. Like, I don't know that I necessarily really care about these Trump movies that he's in. Though it is very interesting to me that they're trying to stop it from being distributed because it's obviously not painting Trump in a great light.
Wasn't he in Pam and Tommy and Pam or whatever?
Yeah, he was in
Tommy.
Pam and Tommy. He did this other movie with Jamie Dornan and the girl from My Secret Life as an American Teenager, whose name I don't remember, that I hate.
Was that the one that came out last year?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. But then he did like weird ones where he was like a gymnast and like totally off his rocker, very similar to kind of the role he plays in Hot Tub Time Machine.
I want to give a shout out
so good
to
on
a
that.
movie that apparently was panned, but it was 2020, and so I never really talked to him. Monday. You ever see Monday with Sebastian Stan?
No.
Describe
A
it to
spark on a
me.
Friday can lead to a sizzling weekend. Leads to a sizzling weekend fling. Parentheses. Sebastian Stan and Denise Goff as Mickey and Chloe.
Oh yeah,
But what
where
happens
they're
when
like
you get to the
in
inevitable one
Italy
day?
or France.
Yeah, something like that. That was a really fun movie.
I liked it.
According to this, a 5.7 out of 10 according to IMDb. But like, I remember having a fun time with that movie.
Yeah.
It was cute. It was heartfelt.
They had like a good chemistry.
And that was
together
like
and stuff
totally.
like that.
That's a little bit of what I'm talking about here, where
Yeah.
it looked like a very generic esque trailer, but I was like, I like him, I know already, and he seems like he's got chemistry with her, so I'd like to see them do stuff.
See, that's
To each other.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? By the way, every one of the ones that you guys have listed, I'm like, if I see any of these people on a streaming platform for $5 or less, boom, that's my Sunday right there. You put some Chipotle in there, woo, we're going
What
in
a
on
day.
it. I'm going to mention one more. Of course, I'd be remiss without mentioning this person because she's on my Mount Rushmore of comedic and actually dramatic actors because she's really good at this. Melissa McCarthy.
The Heat's Melissa McCarthy.
I like that.
every fucking time she's in something. No, they're not all great. There's been a couple of them where you're like, I started watching like this movie's just not working together.
2016 was a rough year for her.
But man,
the one that she did with Anne Hathaway was so bad. The
that was pretty
Heist,
rough.
Or
That
whatever it was.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. But for every heist we get
I like that one.
Mike loved that movie. For every one of those movies we get
I
a
fell asleep
spy.
twice in that movie.
Which is the Spy is fucking hilarious. The Heat is fucking hilarious. And recently she was just in Unfrosted.
God damn
And
it.
say what you will about this movie.
Tell
Mike and
them
I have
about it.
watched
if I
it
had
twice.
$1
already.
for every time Nick brought up this stupid
She is so fucking funny. Her comedic chops have not lost a step, and I will support her until the day I die. Similar like a Will Ferrell. Where Will Ferrell had those he was hot for like 20 years, and then just decided that he just didn't care about the movies he was making anymore. And started making those Sherlock movies. You're like, well, this is tough to get through, but I still love Will Ferrell.
I do have a deep love in my heart for Melissa McCarthy based strictly on Gilmore Girls. And I want her to go back to like the more like funny, sweet, a little bit more lighthearted character. I don't necessarily know that I love her as like a main comedic. I think I like her as like the side.
Oh,
quirky
she
character.
gets me every time. Did you see that movie she did with about where she played a forger? It was a dramatic movie.
A what?
A forger. She like forged notes. She was a
Oh.
writing.
He meant she was like in the woods
I thought she was like looking for
berries.
mushrooms in the woods. Yeah.
Dang, chat, you're gonna have to help me out with this one. It was really fucking good and really sad. She plays, I think it's a real life character, and she plays this writer who just has been struggling, and then
interesting.
comes across a letter in a book, and they go, "Oh, we'll buy that for me for like $500."
Identity theft says DJ.
No, that's
No.
a comedy.
That's
That was
hilarious.
a
I
good
know
one.
which one you're
Man.
talking
That
about.
was a good
though.
one.
Not Tammy. All right, everyone's just fucking with me now.
Tammy was a good one.
And it's not the one where she goes
So
back to school
fucking
either. That
funny.
was a terrible one as
Can
well.
you ever forgive me?
Yes, that was really good. Everyone should watch
I want to
it.
watch
She
that.
was. I don't know if it was this movie she was nominated for an Oscar.
I don't know if it was that or not, but she was really good in it. It was really, just really sad, really tragic character she plays. You forget she's got actually really good, like dramatic chops as well, which I think every comedic actor probably does have.
It's on
somewhere
Prime
in there.
Video for $3.79.
There you go.
I'm added it to the list right now.
Add it to the list.
Also, one more shout out to Florence Pugh. I will pretty much go see anything that she's in.
Florence Pugh is like
And,
is,
like-
is a moment.
Even her like back catalog, back to Fighting with My Family. Like
Oh yeah, I forgot she was in
she's
that.
good.
Never saw
Got
Midsummer.
the chops. Ooh, that's it's good. I have still to this day only watched it once.
What was it? Sorry.
Midsummer. That was the one where it was kind of her breakout role, right? That was one where I
That
remember
was
thinking,
the big one.
this-
But she did
who is
that
this person?
and Little Women, I think, in the same year.
Mm.
And
I'm
Can I give a
excited.
couple more?
Go for
Oh,
You
it.
know,
of
there's a couple
course.
that's interesting off the list. Think of Denzel Washington.
Sure. Somebody said in the chat earlier that they used to feel that way about Denzel, but as
Really?
of now, if he's in it, they're not going to rush out. To see
Okay.
anything.
I think about Will Smith. The power grip that he had on me. Still does.
I'll be real. I still love Will Smith. I
I'll
do.
go see Will.
And I know that he's had his problems. I know there's a lot of those problems have been very public, and obviously I never stand by anyone that I don't think you should ever hurt another human being or in anger. I think you got to go to therapy before that. Having said that, I fucking love Will Smith, and I want his life to be better. I want him to figure his stuff out. I want him to be happy and everyone to forgive him.
I'm looking forward to I Am
and
Legend
move
2.
forward.
Mm-hmm.
Is he signed for it?
Did you?
Yeah, right. I don't follow closely.
I think it's happening.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I thought
I remember
we
the
were-
movie. I didn't remember that he was attached to it. Or not.
I watched a documentary about Quincy Jones, which was very long. But Quincy Jones, obviously one of the most historic music producers ever, perhaps the most prolific.
Rashida Jones's
Yeah,
dad.
she makes the documentary, and it's basically two documentaries in one. One is like, hey, this is who he is and how he progressed, and the other one's like what he means to her, and there's a lot of family stuff in there. I kind of just fast forwarded through that if I'm being real, because I'm like, I get to
I don't
the,
need to feel.
well, it was like, she was like, this is my first time making a documentary. I was like, you got to edit. We got to edit this out.
I can tell.
I can tell.
Maybe
But
start with something that's not so close to home.
there is a
and then do
great
that one.
moment where Will Smith's like, yeah, Quincy Jones calls me up and he goes, hey, I want to talk to you about your future. I got this show for you called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And it's just from that point on, Will Smith fucking skyrocketed. But that was like all Quincy, apparently, like putting together those pieces in the back end. Super cool.
Adam Sandler.
No,
Where do we fall?
Mike.
Come
No
on.
way. Not anymore.
Really?
Uncut Gems?
I'm still watching the Netflix movies he puts out.
You know what, Mike?
Murder Mystery.
You know what,
I'm
Mike?
on it.
I support you, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
Because I love Adam Sandler.
Yep.
I grew up on Adam Sandler movies. He was obviously like my cast going through the late 90s with that's right, late 90s Adam Sandler and on SNL. I will always love the making Happy Gilmore too. I will always love those movies, and I will always respect Adam Sandler because I'm still to this day not sure if he's talented or not. But he sure is popular, and man, he's sure likable.
is.
I'm being facetious. He's of course very, very talented, but his vibe that he puts out is so
Totally.
accessible and so lovely, and he just seems like legitimately a decent human being. With the fact that he keeps paying all of his friends to be in all of his movies, and it's kind of living the dream.
You imagine that's what everybody would do.
And I get it. And yeah, of course, Netflix can give you a boatload of money or whatever. But it's that thing where it's like, he had such a great run when we were coming of age,
Yeah,
right?
he
With
sure
Happy
did.
Gilmore.
Ended with Little Nicky. Just put a bullet in his career,
right? Like, and Billy Madison. And so, like, I forget
Deeds.
who I was talking to, but I had a conversation of just like, so is
Big
it that
Daddy?
we outgrew Adam Sandler's humor and like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison also, if they were to drop now on Netflix, we'd be like, oh, they suck and they're not funny. And they were like, no, those were actually good movies, yada, yada. So it makes me so like, not sad, but like the fact we're getting Happy Gilmore too, it's like, oh, I hope you pull it out because I
Yeah.
loved Happy Gilmore. But like, I know I just can't imagine it being good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's definitely a nostalgia play.
Yeah.
But don't forget also that Adam Sandler very like later in his career moved on to very dramatic
I know.
roles with
And when
Uncut
he does it, he
Gems and
kills
funny
it. Yeah,
people, and
yeah.
he's really, really good in those.
Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
Yes, all of that stuff's good. I will also just give a special shout out to The Wedding Singer, which I think might be my
Oh,
personal
film.
favorite
Great
Adam
film.
Sandler
So good.
movie. 'cause
50
he was
First
really good in it.
Dates?
Dude, 50 First Dates
Still pretty
makes me
good.
cry so hard.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
Hustle's good. That's one of his recent ones with the basketball player.
Never
Oh,
watched
yeah.
it.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Don't
that
watch
one's
that.
pretty good. And then my last one, since we're talking about like, hey, did we lose sight of these ones? Ben Stiller. He's
Yeah.
still that guy or no?
He's on the producing train too, like
Because
Rogan.
man, he had it. He had it.
Because he's working on Severance season 2 right now.
I will always love Ben Stiller. I will always love Ben Stiller for giving the world Zoolander, which
God,
is one of
so
my
good.
personal favorite comedies of all time.
It's an all timer.
but I don't what?
But I know there's a but coming.
But I have just never liked the classic Ben Stiller movie, which is that he is a wuss character that gets shit on by every
Yeah,
single person
yeah,
around
yeah.
him, and he never stands up for himself. And for whatever reason, everyone's like, "This is hilarious." Where I want to walk out of that movie theater and fucking light it on fire whenever
I talk
watch
about
those
all the
movies.
time where it's like I have a problem with movies and this sounds ridiculous and it's not even, but like when bad things happen to good people
Yes.
for no reason. Like, so Meet the Parents was always nails on a chalkboard to me. It's
hated
just like,
that
this
fucking
guy's just
movie.
trying to fucking like, why is Robert De Niro so, and it was like, like I love De Niro. I don't love him in those films.
I
but it was
Yeah.
fucking could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
Those and that was just like he did another. What was it? Along Came Polly or others
Yeah.
where he's just getting shit on constantly, and I'm like, I don't like you. I don't respect you as a character. I don't
Yeah.
believe you're
Yeah.
redeemable at
Yeah.
all. You're just
100%.
such
You
a
nailed it.
you're just such a sorry person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the chops to do more serious. Not
Oh,
even
Ben's-
more serious, but like Keeping the Faith. I remember.
Oh, he's been
really
like Walter
liking
Mitty and
all
stuff like
kind
that.
of
Yeah, He's done some good stuff.
Yeah, I would put De Niro on my list too, as somebody who I love. Like, I love Scorsese films. I love
Sure.
De Niro. Obviously, there's ones I don't, whatever. Irishman, I was like so fucking over, but like,
Well, I mean, you talk about creators. Scorsese, if he does something, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not always going to agree with it, obviously, but he's one of those that no matter what happens, I say that,
haven't watched Flower
but
Moon
I
yet.
still haven't seen Flower Moon yet.
We're
That
still working our
reminds
way
me.
through it. We're whittling our way through it.
It's very well, and to be fair, one of the reasons I didn't watch that was because you look at it, you're like, that's going to be a
Heavy. Yeah.
very heavy.
Yeah.
And so I just haven't been yearning for that experience just yet.
And the final one I put on my list was Tom Hanks. I love Mr. Hanks.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? He's one of those guys, to what you were talking about earlier, of like, if I'm flipping through the channels or whatever and Big's on, if I just need white noise, put on Castaway or whatever, like
That thing you do.
that thing you do, come on. Catch Me If You Can.
Oh,
Come the fuck on.
so
like, that's
good.
the thing is, and like, again, to the point of like, I haven't seen Otto. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know he's done
I
stuff
like the
recently.
Man named
book.
Otto.
Yeah,
I
there's-
imagine the movies.
Recently, he's
really
done stuff
cute.
that I have not been around.
You know
for.
that Catch Me If You Can was like largely bullshit.
No.
Oh yeah.
Sadly, yeah.
No,
I
I
read an article about where
Frank
they were like,
Abagnale Jr. wasn't soaking planes in his tub for his fake checks.
no, apparently he never really worked for the FBI.
Oh.
So apparently, someone reached out to the FBI and was like, "Hey, is this true?" They were like, "Absolutely not." Like, he consulted on maybe 1 or 2 cases,
Nice.
but the entire movie was basically like,
But do we trust the FBI to tell us the truth?
goes
I mean, I don't
There
trust
you
the
go,
American
Joey.
government. I'll tell you this
Yeah.
right now, Greg. I can't. All I look out when I see, I don't
Still
see
a good
anything
movie,
round.
though.
I see everything flat.
Excellent
If you know what I'm talking about,
I do
bro.
know what you're talking about over there.
This makes
And on
Kevin
that
so
note,
uncomfortable.
ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Kind of Funny podcast. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, come to talk to you about whatever it is they want to talk about. Tell us in the comments below on YouTube, Patreon, or scream them out your window if you're listening to a podcast who your list of actors are for who you pledge allegiance to. We'd love to know. Of course, if you liked this show, head on over to patreon.com/kindoffunny or youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, where you could pick up a Kind of Funny membership, support our business, and then, of course, get each and every one of our programs ad-free. Get the ability to watch us record this show live as we record it and get your daily dose of Greg Way each and every weekday. Of course, if you are watching this the day it posts, that's Wednesday. We're kicking off a whole bunch of content for you because we're all about live talk shows here at 10 a.m. Kind of Funny Games Daily. We'll have the biggest news in the gaming world. Then it's the Games Cast with our Multiversus review so far. And then the stream will be Nick's Victory Lap in Pokemon.
Woo!
That
Gonna
all
catch
kicks off
Mewtwo.
I'm a
at
champion.
10 a.m.
Let's go.
Pacific, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, later on podcast services around. Clap, clap, the gold. Globe. Globe.
It's all gold, baby.
The golden.
I'm just
Globe.
seeing all the gold trophies Garfield's going to pick up at the Oscars and the Emmys and the BAFTAs.
I'll tell you what. I'll bet you $10 you don't think about Garfield, that stupid fucking movie, one more day after today.
Green, brother. I'll tell you every day I thought about it.
And I'm only giving you $10 once. You're not gonna get away with
Until
that.
next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you.